Imagine spending Saturday scrubbing the floor until it sparkles, only for a muddy dog to run across it the second you put the mop away. Doing the exact same exhausting chore day after day, knowing perfectly well that the mess is just going to come right back, is incredibly frustrating. You never actually get to check the task off your list. Thousands of years ago, people experienced a very similar kind of exhaustion. To apologize to God for their mistakes, they would offer animal sacrifices, repeating the exact same process year after year. The book of Hebrews points out the flaw in this old system. Doing this repeatedly acted as an annual reminder of their mistakes, but it was physically incapable of wiping the guilt away from their hearts, and the inner mess always came back. The author of Hebrews explains that this ancient setup was merely a shadow of the good things that were coming. A shadow gives an outline, like this flat gray apple, but it's useless if you're hungry. You need tangible fruit to solve your problem. Similarly, those endless sacrifices were shadows, entirely incapable of wiping away the deep stain of human mistakes. Since a shadow cannot fix a real problem, humanity desperately needed the real deal to show up and provide a permanent clean slate. That real solution arrived when Jesus entered the world. Jesus made it clear that God took no real pleasure in watching people perform an endless, exhausting cycle of burnt offerings. God didn't want a temporary fix. Instead of repeating chores like flipping pages on a never-ending calendar, Jesus stepped forward by offering his perfect life as the sacrifice. One perfect action, done correctly. The text describes this once for all. This single action covers every person for the rest of time. Jesus successfully achieved in one single moment what the endless, frustrating chore of the old law could never accomplish. Think about the ancient priests working under that old system. Day after day, they stood on their feet, performing the exact same religious duties because their job was never truly done. Compare that exhausting routine with what Jesus did. After offering his one sacrifice for all time, he sat down at the right hand of God. Sitting down is incredibly significant. You only take a seat when the work is over. By sitting down, Jesus proved that the heavy lifting of forgiving sins is 100% finished. Because of this finished work, the book of Hebrews shares a promise directly from God. Their sins and lawless acts I will remember no more. The job is done, and the mistakes are entirely forgotten. That means any further sacrifices for sin are completely unnecessary. In ancient times, there was a physical barrier between people and God. A massive, heavy curtain was kept tightly closed to block everyday people from entering the most holy place in the temple. When Jesus offered his physical body as a sacrifice, he acted as the ultimate VIP pass, opening a new and living way straight through that heavy barrier. Because that curtain is completely open and our guilty conscience has been washed perfectly clean, we no longer have to be afraid. The ultimate reward of Jesus' permanent fix is that we can now draw near to the Creator of the universe with absolute confidence and full assurance. This deep sense of peace changes how we interact with God, but it should also completely change how we treat each other. The text tells us to hold unswervingly to our hope, reminding us that the one who made these promises to us is completely faithful. We can count on him. Because we are secure, we can look around and figure out how to spur each other on. We are supposed to be actively pushing and lifting each other toward love and good deeds. This is why it is important not to give up the habit of meeting together. We must gather often, linking arms to encourage our friends as the day approaches. We have the permanent fix. We don't shrink back in fear. We step forward together in faith and salvation.